Hello, thank you management. This is Jamie from BOC International. I want to ask a question about overseas expansion. As you mentioned, overseas expansion is a very important key strategy for the future. Let's talk about the European market. Comparing with China market, there is a big difference. For one hand, in European market, the used car transaction accounts for a big portion in the market. And also, in the European market, there are some existing players, and the consumers is more matured than the Chinese consumers. I do understand you said the auto home had some product and content advantages over the overseas peers. However, in terms of consumer acquisition, what's your plan to expand to overseas market? Thank you for the question. Actually, before expansion to overseas market, we have done a lot of an extensive consumers research in the European and US market. We also compared our product offering with the local peers, and I believe we already gained the local consumers' recognition. As I have said, in terms of product offering, we do have some advantages over our peers. And that is true for the European market and the US market. The used car business is bigger than selling new car business. But for us, if we want to get into a matured market, we still choose to start with new car first. After we stabilize the new car business, we definitely would expand into the used car business. We understand that at the very beginning, there will be some difficulties. That is a very important question. How did you let people know that we are in the market in addition to the existing players? We have been observing the UK market for about 3 years, and from scratch to establish our teams. Now, very soon we're going to launch the UK business. The key is our product offering and operations. On the product side, we are very confident that we do have advantages. And the key is whether we can implement our operation and whether our operating can be successful or not. Now, talking about internet operatings, we accumulated a lot of experiences in China because the Chinese internet market, comparatively speaking, is quite advanced. Just like the US, we do accumulated a lot of experiences. Of course, we should also have the local experience and expertise. So that's why we hired some of the local teams. The most important thing is the team should be ready, and we should also create synergy between the headquarters in China and international branch offices. We are very practical. We also learned from other Chinese international internet companies and to see how they evolve into the overseas market. We learned lessons as well as gained experiences. We are very keen to learn, although nobody can guarantee the success, but we will try our best to work hard on this. We will try our best to explore the foreign market by step. Hello management, this is Ellie from Morgan Stanley. I have a question related to the traditional business. In recent days, we do see the volatility in the share price. I think this has something to do with the announcement that your 车商会 product will not raise the price. I believe that from my perspective, every time we do see Chairman Lu had led the team to one step ahead of the industry, no matter is for the digital transformation or this time. I believe the management already noticed some trend in the industry because the whole old industry in China is down, so that's why you made such a decision of not raising the price. So during that day's telephone conversation, we don't have enough time to elaborate. Can you elaborate more this time? I of course understand 车商会 data product is only part of your product offering, and in the future, what would be the total investment on this platform? Do you have any quantified indicators or index? What is your future strategy? What is the future momentum? As we understand, the whole auto market will experience a downward slope. Do we see any opportunities inside? Would the traditional business continue to grow? At what growth speed? So thank you, Mr. Liu. Yes. This time we announced that we are not going to raise the price of 车商会. This is a tough decision. In the past few years, the marketing department always get asked the same question. Will you raise the price next year? This is a tough decision, but we are very confident that we made this decision. We made this decision because we have the confidence. Because one thing really important is you have to be fully compatible with this business. You have to stand side by side with your customers because we are doing 2B business. If we raise up the price, we may lose a lot of 2B customers' confidence and trust in us. In January, you knew there were 3 dealership groups. They helped us to raise up the stock price. I have to say that is because the support offer us the stock's price to hike. On one way, if you do this, the stock price will rise up. On the other hand, the price stock may also rise up. You have to make a choice. We announced that we will not raise next year's 车商会 price because we do have confidence in the future. We have to move on. But it takes time for the market to understand us. Regarding your question, we do have a very complicated resource allocation measures and strategies. Due to the time's sake, we cannot elaborate more on this. But I believe that in the next few months, or maybe early half of next year, maybe next Q1 or Q2, you will be able to see the results. In the morning, I already said that in the future, our traditional business, the breakdown, would shrink, and advertising and traditional business, the breakdown would shrink, new business would rise up. But it can never be that evenly distributed. We have to grow our new business, including what Mr. Zhang Jinyu have mentioned, our big data business. Leveraging on our big data business, we can perfectly get into the major value chain of our customers. This is not a show business. This is a true value-added business embedded into our customers' value chain. And each piece of business would be quite valuable on our customer side. It can help them to make enhancement. So, I think the future is very promising, and we would also develop some other business lines. In terms of the future development, I believe with time goes by, no matter it's investor or an analyst, they would notice that we have shrinked our traditional business model. Currently, a 车商会 product without raising the price have already made our share price dropped a lot. Actually, 车商会 doesn't account for a big portion of our revenue. If you notice this, you will not be surprised that we are not going to raise up its price. Of course, this is a high-level strategy. This, to some extent, is a strategy to enhance our soft power. If we change the rules of the games, for example, we visited UK and visited the car walk. They are doing CPS. They are transactional based. If they boost one transaction, each of the car, the 4S store, have to pay them £300. The conversion rate is about 6%. From leads to conversion, the conversion rate is 6%. You can calculate how much does a lead worth. But we have a strategy. For the 4S store, if they do more CPS with us on the platform, they will have more coverage. They will have more exposure. This is a simple strategy, so we can attract the dealers to do more CPS with us. Thus, gradually, we are going to shift the rule of the game into comprehensive CPL's angle. We will calculate the OEM plus dealers and 4S stores' total investment divided by the total number of leads. Then we calculate the lead unit price. Currently, the average price is about 59 RMB. Some are lower, some are higher. For those less popular car models, they have to invest more. The new brands also have to pay more. If it's a big brand and a traditional brand, then the unit price would be relatively lower because they already have high brand recognition. Based on this, we will assess each of their compound CPL. We will have an overall judgment, and also we are going to see how collaborative are the OEMs and what's their relationship with our competitors, etc. In the past, we charge a fixed flat fee. Every 4S store, we charge the same fee. However, the leads generation varies. That is to say, some of the 4S stores, we charge flat fee, but we generate different number of leads. There are some stores complained that this is unfair, but we have to consider the overall branding. In terms of the overall business development framework, we would further grow our new business, as well as new territories. Secondly, in terms of the traditional business, we are changing the game of the rule of the game. This time, we do not raise up the price, and this has been welcomed by a lot of our dealer friends. That's true for auto home. We are developing very fast in recent years. We have quick growth in terms of business revenue. But this year, the whole auto industry in China was down. Everybody is having a difficult time. So at this time point, we need to show our empathy. We need to stand together with our customers. Although we fully understand that the capital market are results-driven and performance-driven, but we also believe that given more time and given more efforts paid by our team, we would try our best to build up a better business. I believe we should adopt long-term perspective towards our future business development. Thank you. Hi, I have 3 questions regarding overseas expansion. Why do you want to start with a developed market rather than developing market? And secondly, about the cost. How much are the investment cost on the operating? For example, you mentioned every country you would have a team of 100 people. How much would be the cost for such a team? And also, in terms of the cost, how much would it be customer acquisition cost? How much would it be the budget for getting traffic cost? And how do you want to get the traffic? As you know, in domestic China, traffic can be very expensive. So how much would be the overseas expenditure budget for getting the traffic? Thank you. I also have a question related to the traditional business model, fee charging. And can you say that next year, how much would be the lead generation revenue impact on the business? Would this lead generation revenue be down or be up? What would be the volatility for the lead generation? As we know, in Q3, compared with the same period of last year, we had some downward shift on the leads generation revenue. Is that so, and why? Lastly, I want to talk about the new business. And you said you're going to launch a lot of new business. How much would be the revenue out of this new business? And each of the module would contribute to how much revenue? What would be the most promising new business? Thank you. Thank you. You asked too many questions. I may not remember everything. Let me answer the overseas questions first. We have did some calculations and estimations. I'm not in a convenient position to tell you how much would be the detailed budget for the cost of the personnel in overseas team. However, what we have is a flexible plan. As said, we need to recruit within 100 people. We do not need 100 people because a lot of R&D were based in China. We already have a strong team. There's no need to build more on the overseas market. In overseas market, we do have the content team. This is a must-have. We also have the teams to cover the dealers, but it doesn't need too many personnel. And then I want to talk about our user products and the data product promoters. And we do not need too many people. And the cost is quite controllable. You may say a lot of dollars would be spent on the marketing, but we also have plans. In 3 years of time, we do see that we have very clear plan, and we would be implementing this planning. In the future, our business, our leads generation, we would consider the comprehensive and compound CPL. And we will connect the dots of the investment from the OEM to the leads generation. We said we want to change the rule of the game, and the 车商会 become a threshold or starting point. If you want to get in, you have to pay the fee for that. We also have some follow-up services which we also can charge fees. We continue to grow our leads generation this year. For the first 3 quarters, the growth is about 16%. We grow our traffic, so that's why the leads generation volume also grow. And this year there are some 4 stores which was driven out of the market, but there are some newly established 4 stores. There are more closed 4 stores than the new 4 stores. Last year, we raised up the price by 20%. However, if we look at the unit price of the leads, it's dropping. So for the 4 stores, the unit price is dropping because the number of 4 stores shrinked, but the total leads generation volume was growing. So we believe that in the future, we do see some OEMs try to expand online. For the 4S store, we do not expect the number of 4S stores to grow in a massive way. This is not the reality and not quite possible. So we should take this opportunity to make changes to the fee model. We should pay more attention to the comprehensive CPL. In the future, in the long run, the fee relationship with the 4S store numbers would be slimmer and slimmer. This is the CFO. I want to make a few additional comments. Firstly, related to the traditional business. Next year, we for sure will continue to grow our business. The business will grow even if we changed the fee model. That's number one. Secondly, as you mentioned, the Q3's leads generation compared with last year, the same period of last year, we grow by 16%. However, we only procured the leads from external resources by 3 to 4%. Last year, we procured 15% of the leads from external resources. So if you take this consideration, our two self-generated leads grow much stronger than the disclosed number. So I believe we still have room for further growth. Thank you. The comments from Chairman Lu. We procured about 5% of the leads from external resources, a little bit more than 4%. This saves cost. But every year we have to have some external procurement because we don't generate enough leads in some of the brands and some of the regions. We have to offset from procurement externally. Our bottom line is 85% self-generated versus 15% external procuremented. Our self-generated leads, the quality is better. So that's why this year we generated more leads from internally, and we cut the leads procured from external resources. Well, in terms of international market, we have made a study about the global market, including Southeast Asian market and Indian market. India is a big country, but they have a very high brand concentration rate. 3 big brands occupied the whole market. The volume is not up yet. There are a lot of motorcycles in the industry as well. For the Southeast Asian countries, each of the countries are doing well, but relatively speaking, their size is very small. For Japan and the South Korean market, the local brands enjoy advantages and they do not have a lot of brand offerings. We would offer more value under the multi-branding strategy. So we choose to get into the developed market. If we can cover UK and Germany, in the future we would take these 2 cities or 2 places as the headquarters of Europe, then we can cover the whole Europe. The car models in these 2 countries are similar, but the language is different. Even if we achieve success in only one country, that's still a success. Each of them is only a size of a Chinese province. For us, it's not that difficult, but the US market is too big. So that's why we choose to get into Europe, because it's easier. As long as we achieve initial success, we will figure out a way. For the new business, in the Q3, it accounts for 19%. Higher than last year. Next year, maybe over 20%. It's still growing. Majority of the new business is data plus finance services. Data service accounts for half. Finance plus transaction accounts for another half. In another half, majority of the business are transactional-based business. Hi, Mr. Lu. I'm from Jinrongj, JRJ. You mentioned that the transition of the auto home started from vertical media to big data platform to intelligent-based approach. We understand for the Internet of Cars, AI, and driverless cars, they are all changing this whole industry. So, from your perspective, how would these new technologies impact your ecosystem? If you consider auto home an ecosystem platform, what's your future strategy? Yes, we talked about the new trend, and all the OEMs are trying to work on this direction. We are serving our consumers, and we are also serving the whole industry. So that's why we will also follow the tide. But what we need to do is not only on the service level. The key is we have to do it at the core and the fundamental level. In the past 3.5 years, that is what we want to achieve. I always ask my employee and staff members, can you achieve this? Everybody say this is tough, but we're interested in trying. Because if it's very easy, I think there are somebody already did that. So trying new things, trying to be innovative is always not easy. When this becomes a standard, when everybody does this, that is a must-have. The core is, for the OEMs and the dealers, they would consider what's the merit, what's the advantages of auto home. We have witnessed the transformation, the digital transformation process. I think we gained a lot of experiences. If we can steadily hold on to that, we can achieve our goals. Otherwise, this would become a slogan, and there will be no major differentiation between different players. Thus, I believe digital transformation is really important. For example, the big data business. In the past, in the R&D stage, marketing stage, we cannot get into OEM's value chain. But like the German brands, they have over 100 years of production history. In their value chain, they already generated a lot of big data. Their supply chain big data was enormous. But even if the German players, they don't have the consumer's data, especially in the R&D stage and the marketing stage, they don't have. We once showed BMW what we can do on the big data products on the marketing. They were quite amazed by this. They were also very much impressed by our quality control and post services, etc. After we achieve this competency, we can work with OEMs, which they themselves cannot do it. We can help. We can help them to transform, digitalize. I believe the opportunities lies in the digitalization transformation. That is why we talked a lot about digital transformation. Hi, I have two questions. One is about overseas expansion. Our overseas operating model, is it the same with the domestic one, the traditional business plus a data new business? When you use data service as a breakthrough, this is the place where a lot of our other peers do not focus. And financially, what are your budget on marketing dollars and some other expenditure? Do you have a certain range of how much money you want to invest in overseas market? And also on the data product, there is a bottleneck because we have enormous volume of data. But a lot of OEMs, they may not be able to use those data. How can you achieve this bottleneck breakthrough? You also mentioned in the future the new business, for example, the data business, would account for a large portion or at least half of your business. In your mind, how many years does this take to achieve this transformation? Thank you. Let me answer your second question first. Yes, in terms of the data product, it does have the problems you pointed out. 车之云 used to be an analytic tool. We invited the OEM leaders to come and listen to us. They were shocked and thrilled. They showed their interest. And we spent about half a day in Dongfeng, and all their senior management come to listen to us. Some of the OEM leaders came for twice, but we also figured out different OEMs may have different capabilities in handling those data. And some OEMs hired agency to handle their marketing strategy. Targeting at this, we are going to make new offerings. I didn't mention that today, but we are going to offer intelligent-based solution, which you do not need to do analytics. Even if you want to do analysis, we can tell you how to do that and how much leads generation enhancement you want to achieve. The intelligent solution can help the OEMs to move one step forward. That would become an easy tool like a camera for dummies. It's very simple, it's not complicated. If you say, I need this photo, okay. If you need this picture, we can help you to get it. And this product may be launched next Q1. and our own sales team would also experience transformation. We didn't talk about it much, but as we said, we are transforming ourselves. So does our sales team. Mr. Shao, the CFO, is also responsible for all the sales teams. Our sales team need to help our clients to enhance their value. After we achieve this transformation, our team would be able to understand what are the challenges for the next 2 to 3 months of the OEMs. What is the trend of its competitors, and how can we help them to achieve the intelligent solution? The intelligent solution can be marketing oriented. It also can be R&D oriented. On the R&D side, we will talk with the professional technicians. We are standing very close with the developers in the OEM's R&D team. We even work side by side with the OEMs, not only marketing but also R&Ds. We also work together with our dealers to co-develop some of the products and to do R&D on the digital products. Otherwise, you are just a concept. You are not down to earth. In terms of the overseas operating, we do not have a big team, so you will know how much would be our cost. And the key is operating and getting traffic. For us, the first step is to build up the traffic. Only after building the traffic can we commercialize the traffic. Without traffic, we cannot achieve commercial success. A lot of things we did in China can also be done in overseas market. We would have a data center located in Europe. We would be fully compatible with the local regulations and the laws. We would protect the privacy of the data. We would respect the local laws and regulations. And yes, we do have a lot of cash on account. We have about 11 billion cash at hand. A lot of investors ask us, why do you need so much cash on account? There are only two ways out. One is to make investment. The other is to pay dividend out or doing repo. We choose to make investment and a dividend. We already announced the dividend payout plan. Every year we will pay out dividend. We want to attract long-term fund, long-term investors. We already promised the dividend payout. In terms of investment, we would further expand into the overseas market. That's part of the future capex, but the amount would not be very big. We would also invest in big data business development. Big data is the key on our investment. As Mr. Zhang Jingyu mentioned, we will also work on the Internet of Cars, etc. We are coming up with new services like Car Repairs Express and some other offerings. We have a lot of projects under R&D. In summary, we have abundant cash at hand, so for sure we will pay out dividends and we will do more investment. Thank you. So thanks for today's investors conference. I think it's very helpful. I have a few questions to ask. The first is about 车智云. In terms of the source of the data of the 车智云 users, in addition to the auto home users, do you have other source of data? You mentioned you have the cross-media source of data. Can you elaborate more? And also in the future, are you going to expand the source of data? My second question is, for in 2020, you're going to further upgrade the data products, and what kind of functionalities we should pay special attention to? And also for the users' investment or online advertising, if they invest in different channels, what would be the different results? For example, if the marketing dollars were spent on the competitor's website or Baidu or Weibo or Douyin. So what would be the different results? I think this would be an interesting question for the OEM's marketing division. And third question is, what is the next year's data products average selling price? Okay, talking about the unit price, it's hard to say because we offer a big product as well as small product. And the pricing mechanism would differ from product to product. For the 车之云, we charge some initial price, which is the entry price. If you want to add more functionality, add more modules, for example, you want to add the competitors analysis, you have to pay extra. We also charge an annual fee for the dealers, but there are some products we charge per usage. For example, the phone call. It's 1 RMB, 1 phone call. We also developed some self-service platform. So for the dealers, they can prescribe the self-service platform. So they can take the used cars service products. The more you use, the more you pay. But the unit price is not very high. They are small products. Now, in terms of the source of the data, all the consumers' data were from our internal, but we also have the media cross websites. There are a lot of auto-related media. We utilize our search engine to crawl and grab all the articles related to one model of the car across all the media. We use the machine to crawl the information out, including positive or negative information, and then we try to classify the information. Some are about driving dynamics, some about the comfortability, etc. For this car, for example, the BMW 3 Series we are displaying, there are 200 articles talking about how good are the driving fun about this car. Only 3 articles says it is not good. So these are our data sources. Now, in terms of pricing, the CFO, Mr. Zhou Jun, want to make extra comments. In terms of 吃住库 or the intelligent or smart marketing and intelligent marketing, the OEMs will pay based on the car model or car series they prescribe. Every year when they launch a new car, as Mr. Zhang Jinyu have said, they would pay for this car model. The 车智库 also we charge fee based on the R&D of some type of car models. We have some key product. For example, on the OEM side, we offer 车智云, and we also come up with some new solutions. This would be the major product. And we also have product targeting at the marketing side. We also have some intelligent-based VR, including activities and events, as well as R&D side. For 车智库, this is a key product. We believe that in the future, we would come up with more offering on the quality control and the service related. For the dealers, our major product is the smart sales. This would be a big product, and we hope that the intelligent marketing would be as big as smart sales. So we do offer a very important product, which is smart marketing. We are very careful in handling the source of data and protecting the privacy of the data. We mainly use our internal data, and we did not purchase external source of data on this regards. Thank you. Hi, the question is about use of the car. As you know, this would be a very big market. You mentioned that you already generated 150 million of the revenue in the road trip channel. So next year, what's your outlook on this business? And what's your future business expansion plan? Are you going to have multiple fee model? And what's your outlook on next year's revenue on this piece of business? Okay, talking about the used car, we have two part of business. One is the post market, another is the traveling market. The post sales market, next year, we want to commercialize this business, including the full store and the car body shop. We are considering of launching a transparency body shop product, which can help the full store or help the body shop to get more post-sales services. What does the transparency workshop or body shop mean? It means for the consumers, if you have a car to repair or do the maintenance, you don't have to spend your time on site. For example, on the weekends, there are a lot of people waiting in the queue to get their car maintained and fixed. It usually will queue up for 4 to 5 hours. So for our users, you don't have to do this. You can ask for a valet driver from other home and send the car to the body shop on either Monday or Wednesday or Thursday. And then after the car has been repaired or fixed, we will send the car back to you, which in this way, the car owners will save a lot of time and it will be very efficient. So we're going to commercialize this business starting from next year. I cannot tell you how much revenue we expect to achieve, but there's one thing for sure, we will explore this market. We would also explore the road trip market for the travelers. And this year we launched the 2B and the 2C side. The fee had already generated of more than 150 million. And the next year we would continue to grow this piece of business. We also have another campaign, which is during the national holiday. In October, we tried to provide the online traveling expo. And the next year, maybe end of May or early June, we are also going to initiate a virtual road trip tour, which would be similar to an auto show expo. And we can also attract the government support and also charging fees on the tourist attraction spot side. We can help to promote some tourist attraction scenes and to attract more travelers. If you watch CCTV or local TV, you will see a lot of tourist attraction spots are doing advertising and commercials. We believe there would be business opportunities. So next year, we already delivered the KPI to the key teams, but I don't want to publish these KPI numbers. This is only internal KPI number, try to further grow this piece of business. But no matter how much is the revenue, this is just merely a number. The most important thing is to get into the 2C model. The 2C model for us is a very important exploration. Maybe a membership product may be launched next year, early next year. In next Q1, we will also launch the Travelers platform. I think we would do more and think more about the 2C side business. We are going to grow the 2C side fee-based business even bigger. This is a very important strategic move, and it just get started. Thank you. Thank you. My question is, in the future, you're going to provide more digitalized solution to the OEMs. I believe this business model is quite different from our traditional pure platform-based business model or advertisement or leads generating business model. We are more closer to OEMs. we provide services. However, according to my understanding, for the new model, the OEMs, what they can make a decision, their decision cycle would get longer. For example, they may pay you 10% for a trial version. If they feel it's good, then they will gradually invest in 50% or 60%. However, you already invested heavily in developing the product, including developing the product as well as establishing your service teams, R&D expenditure. So I believe during the transformation of this developing this new product, I believe that in 2020 or 1 or 2 years after that, it's all transformation stage for you. So in your balance sheet, in terms of the cost structure, what would be the major difference in the future? And in terms of the data, I think the data itself is not very much useful, but you need to continuously to dig deeper under the data. If you want to dig deeper into the data and develop a more data-driven product, so my question is, are you continuously going to invest in R&D? Compare with your competitors. Do you have to invest more? Or is it you already have the base of the big data? You do not need to invest heavily in this. And finally, I see we are not alone in developing those data solutions. Other competitors are also doing this. Do you see a lot of competition in this regards? Okay, to put it this way, in terms of the cost, that's true. For the cost of data product, we have to invest heavily on the R&D at the early stage. And also during the sales cycle, the OEM's decision-making cycle would be longer and extended. And there's another important thing. At the very beginning, there is a barrier that the OEMs doesn't have this budget because this is a brand new offering. They do not have digital marketing investment budget, but there are also a lot of flexibility and alternative way to solve this problem. But it takes time to solve this problem. And currently, with the trend of this market, we do see competition is getting more severe. If the competition in the market is more severe, the OEMs do need the data because the data is like a radar. It will make the OEM look into the market more clearly. I believe this is a very important key point and pain point for the OEMs. So I think the data product have a bright future. Our team also need to get used to educate and tell OEMs about this, and we should understand the product well to communicate well. And on the OEM side, they also need some time to get useful to this product. I think after this 1 or 2 years exploration, we are going for the right track. As for the cost, the labor cost is the biggest cost. When I joined the firm, we have about 4,300 people. After more than 3 years, we didn't grow our human capital. So the human capital or labor cost is there, and it accounts for a big portion of the total cost. There are some R&D expenditure, but we do not do hardware. So that's why we do not need modeling. Maybe we need to purchase some service, but that's quite necessary. And also procurement of some cloud service facilities. So the costs are there. No matter we do it or not, the costs are there. CFO's extra comments. In terms of the big data team, we already have 900 people or close to 900 people. Just spent a few years in doing R&D. We gradually see their results, and we will see more positive results in the next 2 years. In terms of the transformation from selling the boxes or sales to solution providers, we need to enhance our sales team. And theoretically, this would not apply higher cost. Okay, let's give the floor to that lady who raised up her hands at the back of the seats? Well, she's a foreign lady. She has raised up her hands for long. So let's give the microphone to her. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll speak English if that's okay. I'm Jamila Trindle from Select Equity. During this 1 or 2 years of exploration over the next 1, 2, 3 years, what do you expect this transformation to do to your profit margins?
Sorry, I didn't quite get your question. You said the transformation from what?
He described a transformation over the next exploration over the next year or two, and I was just asking how that's going to affect profit margins. What are the expectations for the next 1 to 3 years?
Well, basically, I guess the company is always very strict in terms of cost control, in particular on traditional businesses, and we are also very cautious in terms of any investment in new business or for the expansion outside China. And in the last several years, we have continued investing in new businesses, in different areas. And some of those new businesses has shown profit already, and some of the businesses are turning break even. For example, our data business, it's a very high incremental margin business. And our, used car business, it's already, starting to turning profit. And so for those that we feel we won't be able to, actually, become profitable or become successful, then we will very quickly make a decision to cut it off. So we have been continuing investing in a lot of new businesses, new technology, and at the same time, we are able to still maintain a certain level of margin expansion. Of course, this year it's an exception. We are, willing to, throw in some of our own efforts to help the clients weather the storm, as I mentioned earlier. So, but in the long term, we are confident in our margin trend.
Actually, as I said before, in auto home, there's 3 major cost parts. Number 1 is the human capital, human cost. We control the headcount restricted. So since 3 years, we haven't grown the HC. So that part now is okay. And the second biggest one is the cost for the traffic, user traffic. We need to acquire some user traffic outside from third party. But that part, we strictly set a fixed one for this 3 years. For example, we did the advertisement in CCTV. It cost us a little, but the investors they ask us whether you cost more. Actually, we deduct the user traffic part, that budget, and move that to the CCTV. So we didn't add. The third part is the marketing. Marketing, that part, it costs us some, but it's proportional to the business. So once we have the control over these 3 parts, we are safe. Okay.
Thank you very much, management, for your wonderful sharing. Next, let's invite the CFO, Mr. Zhou Jun, to give us a closing remarks.
好，谢谢陆总、邵总和金宇。So, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to join us, in this chilly autumn morning in Beijing, and hope, by now the passion of the management team has warmed you up already. And we want to just, emphasize again that we are very confident in our long-term growth, and we're, after the session in the morning, I hope you by now understand that, we are transitioning from a auto vertical platform to a intelligent auto ecosystem. And we are now become a solution provider to OEMs and the dealer clients of ours. And we are becoming actually a closed-looped end-to-end SaaS platform to help our dealer clients and OEM clients. And now, so we have a much bigger, expanded, addressable market within China. We're very confident in our growth in China. And of course, we don't want to give up, any chance beyond the border either. That's the reason why, we're expanding, beyond the border. And as Mr. Lu also mentioned that, we have abundant cash on our balance sheet. We have zero debt, and we are willing to pay back our shareholders not only by the means of growth, but also by means of dividend. We want to attract all kinds of different shareholders and investors, in particular those long-term ones. And that being said, we definitely have confidence in the auto market in China as well, and we want to also deliver more value to the shareholders in general, and that's our determination. Please rest assured that we will do that. And again, thank you so much for coming to join us.